seeing the current political landscape and the recent change of the government, what are you and I would say maybe the current government are doing to empower the youth to make them better?
Yeah. I've always been a fan of bipartisanship. Bipartisanship in Malaysia is still a new concept where you work across the aisle, meet up with one another, heatedly disagree when there's an issue, but identify common grounds where we can work in the interest of the people. I remember when I was serving the ministry, I proposed a constitutional amendment to reduce voting age from 21 to 18.
Yep.
Obviously, government couldn't do it then because we didn't have 2/3 majority.
Yeah.
But if you work within a conventional political landscape, you say, okay, we can't do it, therefore, let's give up, let's find something else. But this is new politics, right? Yeah, we can't do it now based on our support. We get opposition support. And we have to work and negotiate and be a diplomat in...
You have to find common ground.
Yeah, in striking that common ground. I remember then there was a lot of skepticism because before I tabled that constitutional amendment, there was another senior minister who tried to pursue an even less controversial constitutional amendment but didn't get opposition support. But I learned from it because, I mean, you cannot expect opposition to just suddenly support you and hug you and say, wow, very good.
They will look very wishy-washy. Right?
Yeah, so we have to engage them. Instead of waiting for them to engage us, I as a minister went to see them, went to their houses, saw their family members, know their issues, know what they want, know what their needs are. And then after meeting up with them personally, then after that, I meet up with all their officers, colleagues, MPs around them. Only then I meet up with the chief ministers, with the presidents of parties, and then after that, only after all this informal process, only then do I call for a formal briefing and meeting with opposition parties. So that by the time I reach the meeting, I already know what they want, where they are at, what are their disagreements, what's the common ground, where are the points, what are the flashpoints where there may be a breakup. So I think that process is an interesting part of democracy which hasn't been fully explored. And again, to our surprise, obviously then they asked, okay, we want 2 more amendments, we want this assurance, we want to do the joint PC together, we want you to remove your bill and table another bill. I did all of that, right? Even I remember in government, they said, what, you are humiliating yourself, they will go to backstab you at the end, you are withdrawing your bill, and in the end, that's a signal of weakness and failure. I said, you can say whatever you want, I will deliver the outcome. So forget all the noise. If I deliver the outcome, stick with me. Right? Just stick with me. And to be fair, then the Prime Minister and Cabinet stood by my side. And by the time voting day comes, for the very first time in Malaysia's history, we got through 3 constitutional amendments in one day, which will effectively power 7.8 million young voters who were disenfranchised, disallowed to vote before. How does this affect your question?
Yes.
Because when you have... So currently already 5.8 million.
Yeah.
Every year there's about 500,000 young people brought into the electoral roll. So 4 years combined 7.8 million.
Yeah.
That 7.8 million is ridiculously huge. I mean, just to show how big it is, last election there were 14 million voters.
Dude, that's like half.
Wow, that's
Exactly.
a 50%
So now you
uptake.
plus 7.8. So can you imagine how scared the old politicians are now?
Yeah,
Because
all
if
the
they
youth are in.
fail to represent the voices of young people and they still bring old politics in, they will be removed in no time.
Or they'll be called out clearly
Exactly.
because everybody now can vote, so they want to know what they're voting for.
Yeah.
So they'll be more attuned to
It's gone.
politics. Yeah.
And the beautiful part about young voters, they're not blindly loyal to any party leader. They can change very quickly. Some people may say that's weakness. I think that's a strength because it keeps all of us on our toes. And we witnessed it. Last election, I remember before election, all the polling houses said young people would not turn up to vote. In the end, they were the ones queuing up for hours.
Everybody insta their finger, bro.
Exactly.
All finger, bro.
That was all of us, bro.
Right then. It's all fingering in one way.
Correct.
So then after we formed government, I think there were some parts which we felt, and me as well, being part of government, where we didn't deliver. And during the by-elections, young people, the tide turned completely against us. Right? But that's beautiful because it shows that young people are so on their toes. They know what's going on. They follow the news well. And if you fail to represent your voices, they will vote against you despite voting in support of you.
They're quite critical. Very
I'm
critical.
telling you, the speed on where news travels, right, is so fast. Like you have your WhatsApp group and then
I mean, you can debate that. Yes, they can be critical, but they can also be vengeful. Like if you look at the American politicals, you look at how Trump was elected. It's quite like vindictive, bro. It's like
There's a line.
like screw the establishment. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
You know, so it depends. But I get the point where I think a lot of people are more in tune. You got to give benefit of the doubt as well.
Yeah, correct.